This is the Anthony for the Arrows in the Business podcast. We're at Gold Bar Espresso, and I'm here with an amazing individual, Shane Baker.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, dude. Good to see you.
Man. Likewise.
Again, I see you often.
Yes.
Yeah.
It feels like we've almost been here before.
Right?
Just a little trope in the back there on that one. Well, we're going to jump right into it. Right here is you and me. You got a camera up there. We're going to have some fun times. I'm going to edit that in both ways.
Yeah, for sure.
Flicker.
I'm excited.
It's going to be fun. Let's jump into it. What do you do, Shane?
So I'm a professional photographer. I shoot fashion, portrait, and architecture.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What's the breakdown? Is it mostly portrait fashion? Like, what are the numbers?
Yeah, this past year is about 50-50 with architecture and my portrait and commercial work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. We're going to let that car pass by. Thanks for our sponsor, Greco and Sons. We're not sponsored. Do not take that in. But, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And for me, from knowing you, so the audience doesn't know this at all, but I know you as you're getting it done a lot.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
You put in the effort.
Yeah, you have to hustle.
Dude.
I mean, well, I wouldn't even really call it hustling. I mean, as a business owner, I think it's important for you to be passionate about whatever it is that you do.
Yeah.
If you're not passionate, you're never going to make it into the top percentile of whatever field you're in.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
And they talk about that as it's easy to do it when it's easy. Like, it's if you don't like, you can do it when it's easy, but as soon as it gets hard at all,
yeah,
you break down a little bit if it's not something you enjoy.
Yeah, exactly, man. And that's one thing that I learned is that when business is tough for your industry,
yeah,
the top professionals don't worry. They see that as an opportunity to take market share.
To take market
because
share.
all the others that were just there because it was good and simple to do, they get out, and that's when everybody else, all the big top dogs, come in and scoop up market share. Because they're passionate, they're professional, they know what they're doing. They've seen that before. They can weather it.
And I think that's also a piece of it too. Just purely, if you get through like that first one or two times, like those first two weathers, all of a sudden it's like we've already done this.
Yeah,
no big deal. It's just another day, another month.
Yeah. Well, but we've all been there. I mean, I've done plenty of jobs where I thought I was passionate about it. The hard times came, and I'm like, no, I'm actually really not passionate about this at all. I didn't know until it happened.
Interesting.
So I don't see it as a negative when people get out. It's like, hey, that wasn't your thing. That's totally fine. Go find your thing. But then when you do have those hard times in the industry, and you do find yourself weathering it out, and you're finding solutions regardless, that's when you realize.
Okay.
One way that you realize.
Yeah. And I'm gonna change slightly. I'm gonna tail back to it in a bit. In terms of passion, but I also know we've talked about once or twice. You have a solid routine, a solid morning routine.
Yeah, man, definitely.
So could you take us through that a little bit in terms of that process?
So I'm not a creature of habit. My strength does not lie in systems and processes, but I learned a long time ago that I needed those things to succeed.
Yes.
So my morning routine, I created it, and it works really well for me. I essentially wake up in the morning, and I don't pick up my phone for like the first 30 minutes to an hour that I'm awake. I know a lot of people, the first thing they do is they grab that phone, check their messages. I don't do any of that.
Yeah.
I pray. I meditate. I go to the gym.
Yeah.
Get something to eat. And when I've done all that, that is when my day starts.
Yeah.
Where I can start interacting with other people. And the reason I do that is really simple, because it's really easy to have a bad day, right? It's easy for somebody to do something to kind of throw you off your game. And it's easy to go through a whole day as an entrepreneur and get to the end of it and you're like, I'll work out at the end of the day, or I'll eat healthy at the end of the day, or the end of the day comes and it's 10 o'clock and you're so tired.
You're done.
You don't do it, right? That's so easy to have to do. So for me, what worked for me is doing it all in the beginning before I did anything for anybody else. So no matter what happens for the rest of that afternoon, I cannot have a bad day because I took care of my body, my mind, my spirit. And that really helps me to make sure that I don't have any bad days.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of part of why I wanted to stop for a minute from the passion and go to process a bit, because I think a lot of people get lost in like that. All they need is like the gusto of the passion. But you're totally right. Sometimes production has to do with a process. I mean, even in sales, right?
Always. Yeah.
Like, you get your list, you do this, you make those calls, you do that follow up, and it's all methodical.
Well, it's easy to get burnt out if you have a ton of passion for whatever it is that you love and want to do, but you don't have any focus.
Yeah, that's the word.
It's easy to burn out. It's easy to burn bridges. It's easy to not find success.
Yeah.
Because you're putting all this time and energy into it. Year, 2 years go by, and you see other people succeeding, and you're like, why am I not succeeding? And you abandon your dream. You abandon the thing that you're meant to do, and that's not what the universe had in mind for you.
Yeah.
You abandoned it because you couldn't figure out a way to focus your time and energy. And so you're mentally burnt out at that point, and that's a bummer for people.
That's for sure. And they actually, so it's Jim Collins' Good to Great. I'm going to pull in one book on my end.
There you go.
And it's the hedgehog concept, where it's focusing.
What is it?
Hedgehog concept.
Hedgehog
Concept.
Okay.
And
I've never heard of the
book,
hedgehog concept.
It's pretty cool because it talks about where most of us go all these different places and try to do all these things.
Yeah.
While the hedgehog concept is one single point, like doing one thing.
What is that?
Doing it really well.
Why is it called the hedgehog concept?
You gotta read the book.
Is the hedgehog, is it like specialized? It does one thing and one thing only?
If I recall back from the book, it has something to do with that.
Okay.
But it's definitely, I throw that in there to that's one of my favorite books.
Okay.
Because it actually goes into the data of why good companies became great.
Right.
And what all of them did. And that's a big part of it. They all focused in on one or two things they did really well.
Yeah. Well, Good to Great is another book. Kind of highlights that same principle.
Yeah.
Is what is it that made somebody go from being good to great? And good is the baseline. Right? Like for me as a photographer, the minimum that you should be is good.
Just to play.
Just to play.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you could be a bad photographer for your whole life. Don't expect to make money.
It's a hobby.
That's
a hobby.
Right? Don't expect to make money, though. And don't expect to make good money.
Yeah.
But being good is the baseline minimum. There's a lot of guys that have really strong business skills that are just good photographers, and they're killing it. And then there's guys that are great photographers, and that's really when you combine that with the business skills, that's where you get your top echelon guys. And women, a lot of the top photographers are, females just killing it. So.
And I know you started a lot of your histories in finance and
real estate,
yeah, kind of in that field.
Not really finance, but
it's all financial matters.
Yeah,
I guess might be a better term for it, right?
Investments and stuff. I used to trade stocks and currency. Did really well with currencies for a long time. And then
did that help when you became a photographer? In that you're going to have the business skills pat down, and all you do is then focus on the art.
I don't think you ever get the business skills pat down, but it's like think of if you've got a backpack, right? And you're going to go on a journey, and so you need tools, you need resources, you need things inside that backpack to make that journey. And what real estate did for me, and being the CEO of the office that I was a part of, it allowed me to get the tools.
Yeah.
So when I went into another industry, I realized, well, business is business, right? And so I had a lot of different resources and ideas and concepts that I could pull from and lay it on top of my photography business, modify it a little bit, and get results that other photographers kind of struggled with for a long time. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you, we're kind of talking about focus. Is 2019's focus different than 2020? Is it kind of the same?
Yeah, that's a good question. The overarching goal has never really changed. I'm pretty blunt about what it is I want. I want a 7-figure photography business minimum, and that means take home, not earning $1 million. That's like taking home $1 million after all expenses.
Like you can use that $1 million for something you want to do.
Profit.
Yes.
Right. Pure profit.
Like.
So that's the financial side. And then more, even another layer below that would be what I call being location independent. So I want to be the kind of photographer who can shoot anywhere, anytime, and be of a caliber where I can pretty much get access to anybody and anything that I need to for that particular project, or to be shooting with the kind of clients of any caliber that I want to. And it doesn't always mean that you're shooting for the top. I mean, maybe you really love like local businesses, and you really want to do that, right?
Mhm.
But being able to be good enough to where they can see the value in your work. So location independent, and then the finance part.
Finance part.
That has never changed. That has been consistent since the day
So
I picked up a camera. That
all
those
the things
things
lead to that
Yeah.
one goal.
Yeah. Now there are strategies that are different for 2020 than 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Strategies isn't just like the percentage of one thing versus the other, or strategies in like the marketing.
Well, marketing specifically.
Okay.
So 2019, I got to the end of the year. Every year my business has grown.
Yeah.
Which has been a big blessing for me.
That is really nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But what I realized at the end of 2019 is I didn't do any marketing at all. I relied 100% on the branding, and branding is
Interesting.
very different than marketing. So
for sure.
the branding is like your name, right? And people hear the name and they think of an idea, they think of a quality associated with that,
Mm-hmm.
and then they either want to do business with that brand and that name or they don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my business relied 100% on that for all of 2019.
Okay.
I was so busy that I ignored my marketing completely. And looking at 2020, I realized that can't happen. Like,
Yeah.
you can do that for a year.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't
get
do
a
that
solid
for
year out of that.
perpetual, right? I'm not at that level. You can't
Yeah.
do that. And so 2020 is all about what are the day-to-day marketing things that I need to be doing.
Yeah.
I need to be reaching out to clients. And this is the simple stuff that most artists hate to do this, and this is why they're not succeeding.
Yeah.
Is they're not emailing, they're not messaging on social media,
Not
they're
enough
not
through the door
making
kind of deal.
not
Yeah.
even phone calls really, but even text messaging or having conversations every single day with the types of people they want to be in business with.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you make a good point there. It's just when you said like your branding, like I ride that wave so long. I mean, both you and me know that most sales can take up to months. Like it's you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
What you put in January usually bears fruit in March, April,
3 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
90 days.
and that's
out,
sometimes sooner, sometimes later. Obviously that's an average.
yeah.
So when you ride that wave of just letting people kind of find you is what it kind of sounds like you're talking about. That's right. I mean, that's actually pretty impressive in itself.
Well,
Real quick, how long have you been a photographer?
I
Like-
picked up a camera in 2012.
Okay.
A year and a half later, I won Phoenix Photographer of the Year.
Okay. So you spent that first couple years like really honing in.
Yeah, I was
On
just
your
I was a
style.
hobbyist, and
Yeah.
no intention of doing it full time.
Okay.
I got into real estate at the same time, and real estate for me was growing really rapidly as well. And 2015, I left the real estate industry completely
Okay.
and devoted myself 100% to photography.
Okay.
And I've been from month one. I've been
So year
full-time.
5 eventually, full time, making money.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I could think I might know a other photographer, one
Yeah, well, that's
that
it. Yeah.
that can say though that even close to that.
It's interesting. I find there's a lot of similarities in photography and real estate. Most real estate agents are not earning full-time
That's
incomes. They're part-timers. They're
Bartending, doing something
amateurs, or they're doing something else. And I sell real estate on the side. We all start there, right? Most of us do, in some way or another. Certainly with me and my photography, started as an amateur,
Yeah.
right? And then, then you get to a point where you realize, okay, those that are actually doing it full time are really, really small. I mean, everybody knows a photographer. I mean, we're competing
Oh,
with the
yeah.
phone, right? Everybody with a camera or a phone can take a photo.
At least 20 people today. I can be
Right,
like,
yeah.
any photos,
Yeah.
Facebook.
Absolutely.
I will get a group of you.
Well, here's the difference that between a photographer who I feel has maybe I should qualify this.
Okay.
There's a few different ways to build a business like this. You can go what I call the Walmart way, which is volume,
Mhm.
right? And I got friends doing very well doing volume, but they're replaceable,
Yeah.
right?
There's many people that can do volume.
And their customers price shop them. So they're always saying, well, so and so's offer me this for a little bit less. Can you, so they're giving more for less, but they make it up on volume.
Yeah.
I have no interest in that.
That's time
And-
consuming.
Well,
right
it's
off the bat.
not only time consuming, but you trade quality,
Yeah.
right? There's no way that a volume business is going to give the quality of a boutique
It's true.
operation, right? So which I call like the Nordstrom model.
Okay.
Right? So the focus is on quality, and that customer service experience that you get through it. And so For me, that's kind of been my path
Mm-hmm.
uh, to it. And so most photographers think that it's on the volume model, right?
Mhm.
And they kind of compete in that space.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while, you'll see some that'll figure it out and realize, I'm tired of this,
Yes,
man.
this is horrible.
And because what happens is that in the beginning, when people would hire me, they needed a photographer.
Yeah.
They didn't care who it was pushing the button.
Mm-hmm.
They just needed somebody to take
Yeah.
a photo. And then eventually, because of you hopefully raise your quality, right? You get to a point in your business where people want you.
Yeah.
They're not looking for a photographer; they're looking for Shane
Because
Baker
of your level of quality.
and your style,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
maybe
Style as well.
maybe the way that you approach your interaction with the clients. You're like, I need somebody who can help me and coach me behind the camera because I've never done it before. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
if you they're not going to pick a photographer if they know better. That's silent. It doesn't give a lot of good direction. It
Yeah.
gives bad direction. So they might seek out somebody, say, who do you know that could really help me look my best, but
Yeah.
coach me? And then, sometimes my name pops up in those circles. And so business now and my clients, they don't need a photographer. They want Shane Baker.
Okay.
But then that comes with a whole new set of challenges because then you got to maintain that and keep
Mhm.
improving it, right?
So how do you maintain, improve? Are you once a day doing some learning? Is there?
Oh, dude, you learn every day. Yeah. So I am 100% every single day. I'm in my business.
Yeah.
There's no breaks.
No breaks.
And
yes, production. That's a.
yeah.
This was a conversation we had about last month. We did it a little later because I had to go somewhere for a business trip. But yes,
Yeah.
this is definitely a conversation of. I picked him because when I see him working day to day, he definitely. I mean, you rival, if not excel, my hours by a percentile every day.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
appreciate
man,
Yeah.
I put it in, and
Yeah.
yet I'm still here watching this guy put in 2 extra hours sometimes. That's the sauce. That's the sauce. And so I definitely want to say kudos to that.
Thanks, man.
I think you've definitely earned the title you have in terms of being able to do this full time because you give it full time effort.
Yeah. Well, it's not only full time effort. You got to give the right kind of effort.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we both know people that are putting a ton of effort in, and they're spinning their wheels.
They're spinning their wheels,
Yeah.
and they'll never quite get to where they want to go.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because I've realized that sometimes it's because they don't know.
Mhm.
Like no one showed them. They don't know where to get the information. But then you have other people that they hear it and they're told,
Mm-hmm.
they're shown a path,
Yeah.
but they think they can reinvent a better mouse trap,
Yeah. At that level.
and there's no need.
And the only person right now that's doing it that frankly I can think of that's at that level able to is Elon Musk right now. Because he started 2 companies and propagated both at the same time in 2 rather different industries.
Yeah, well,
Let alone his other side
that
projects.
guy is like a total anomaly.
And that's
right?
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It takes an anomaly to do that. For the rest of us, we should probably just focus on that one. Is that kind
Right.
of what we're getting at? It's just,
yeah. Well,
oh my goodness.
dude, you just lost one of your.
Oh my goodness. Bobby! I wonder if I leave that in or if I take it out. That's so funny. Oh. Good thing the screen's already cracked to hell. Let's go a little lower. Oh,
Tilt it towards me.
that's still recording well. We got 8 minutes left of recording time. That's fantastic. Towards you.
Tilt the camera itself down just a little bit. There you go. Just straighten up the lines for you. There you go.
Oh, saucy. See, that's what I get for bringing out a photographer on.
Yeah, right.
Tilt it down. Is this right? Yeah, that's good.
You're-
I thought I was running the show. We might leave that in because it's those moments
real
right there.
that's
That's real. The ones that are so polished. Sometimes I'm like, did you guys even? How long did you take to do that? That should be a 25-minute production. Anyway,
That's warm. Okay.
I think even to that point right there.
Yeah.
Because I'm going more on the product I'm offering is
Right.
I'm going more towards quality.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this content, sometimes I'm just get it out because I want to share what I have to say and I want to bring people on you on.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to do 50 of those in a year, you don't have 4 or 5 hours one day with someone.
Yeah.
Or if you do, that's amazing.
Well, I mean, here's the thing with that though. Like, I agree that you need to be producing a lot of work, right? So from a business point of view, you've got your volume businesses, you got your quality businesses, right? However, the businesses that are focusing on quality doesn't mean that they're doing less, because they're spending a lot of time tinkering and shooting. Like, for example, with me, photography, I'm shooting a lot. I'm shooting almost every day, and a lot of it is personal project stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking to up what it is that I'm offering, what I'm doing, looking for new ways to get from what's in my head to real life.
Yeah.
And so they're still putting in the hours you need to get to quality. But the business model itself is just different because, with volume, you're always going to give up quality to do volume business if that's your model.
Yeah.
And that's fine. There's market for that, right? There's people that need that. There's people that they don't really care about having top tier quality. They're just like, I need something quick and fast and easy. And that's awesome. That's why Walmart is what it is. But then you've got the other line, which is like the Nordstrom model, and then people are like, I'd rather pay a little extra, but have something that is going to last me for a very long time. And it's a totally different type of clientele.
It's really different. It's extremely different, and that's why it's interesting sometimes to that's why I like local business.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are still kind of tampering with that. Like, not people are as clear as you are. And I brought you on for that whole purpose of when we go back to the message I want to portray for this one is like become extremely clear with what you want to offer. And sometimes that'll take a couple years.
Yeah.
But as soon as you do that, now it's just a matter of execution.
Yeah.
Versus just kind of trying to get lucky and do all these things. At some point, you have to narrow in.
Yeah.
And figure out exactly what it is.
Well, I think part of it too is what is the engine that's driving you to do what you do.
That's true.
If you just need a paycheck, you're not going to get clarity and focus on your purpose.
Yeah.
Because there's no need for you to. You're just looking for a paycheck. So you're just figuring out all the ways to make that happen.
How do I pay the bills?
But then you brought up someone like, for example, Elon Musk. He's not doing it for the paycheck. He has a vision. He has an idea about the world that he wants to create.
Yeah.
So he created businesses to fulfill that vision.
To reflect.
And the money came because of that. And two totally different approaches.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, Shane, I appreciate you. I'm going to do something a little different this time, and I'm going to put you on the spot.
What do you got?
I want you to, because these are such a cliche interview question, and I just wanted to do it this time because I think it'd be fun. What is the one thing that you would tell people in terms of producing more per day or producing more quality, like anything in that sphere? You can give like one good, take a moment, really think about it. What's that one thing you want to say to people, whether it be in photography or overall? Like, you can lead it any way you want.
Okay. The first thing that comes to mind, I'll tell you a really super quick story.
Okay.
It's not even really a story. I don't own a TV. I sold my TV like 10 years ago.
Okay.
Right? What are you doing in your life during your day that you really don't need to be doing? Well, how many hours of video game? If you're not trying to get on Twitch and make a bunch of money playing video games and stuff like that, or how many hours are you doing playing video games, watching TV? How many hours are you just lying in bed, depressed about your life, whatever it might be, that you can just stop doing right now and put that time towards a passion project?
Yeah. So
get rid of all the stuff in your life. Be minimalistic. Get rid of everything in your life that doesn't serve the purpose of your vision.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it there, right there.
Okay.
That's it. We're done.
Cool.
Purpose. This is the Anthony S. Arizona Biz Podcast. Shane, thanks, man.
You got it, man.